So today we'll talk about how Bangladesh can potentially buy JF-17
Yeah.
and the larger geopolitical and strategic situation implications for India and the larger greater India region,
Yeah.
which we call Indian subcontinent, and we prefer not to use the term South Asia. So, what do you think? Does it feel like Bangladesh is trying to assert its strategic autonomy, and or is it Bangladesh actually needs it, and that is the only best aircraft that it can buy for the money and bang for the buck?
I think since the ouster of Sheikh Hasina from Bangladesh, I think the Bangladesh government itself is, to some degree, it is anti-India, and it probably sees India as an adversary. So it is like just making it is like strengthening its alliance with China and Pakistan, and that is that is what's made it by this GF-17.
Yes, under Sheikh Hasina, India definitely enjoyed a very good relations with a very cooperative synergy was created between India and Bangladesh.
Yes.
But I think that was more due to the fact that it was Sheikh Hasina that was heading Bangladesh.
Yes.
The larger Bangladesh society is quite anti-Hindu and anti-India.
Yes, and it is very radical as well. Like the society, Bangladeshi society is by and large radical. It is not a very rationalist society.
There are like two kinds of. There's a clear divide in Bangladesh. There are one who are called pro-Pakistan, who see themselves as a Islamic nation, assert their Islamic identity, and the second you could call who understand Bangladesh's unique departure from Pakistani state in 1971. And they are often termed as India agents in Bangladesh polity.
Yes.
They are mocked as India agents.
In domestic politics of Bangladesh.
Yeah, it's not a country that really should occupy the brains of Indians much, because it's very, very inconsequential in the larger scheme of things.
Yeah, larger scale of things, it's not really a challenge.
It is not a challenge, but the reason why them taking or procuring JF-17 is a bit of a failure of our foreign policy. Even if Sheikh Hasina is out, shouldn't we have built up institutional relationship with Bangladesh?
Yes, you mean like the bipartisan relationship, right?
No, person to person has its advantages. But I think sometimes we feel that we were relying too much on Sheikh Hasina. We should have given our red lines to every stakeholder of Bangladesh, whether it's the BNP or it's Awami League.
Yes. I think, yes, we relied too much on Sheikh Hasina in this case. And I think she used this, because she knew that, she had our support. So she also, did a very bad, governance, which ultimately led to her overthrow.
Sheikh Hasina got rid of a lot of Islamic elements. It had its tribunals, war tribunals, in which she sent many pro-Pakistani to the gallows. At that time, they were complicit in persecution of Bengalis when Pakistan was ruling Bangladesh, when it was known as East Pakistan. So they did. She did have this. She wanted to clear out ISI elements from her bureaucracy. So there was clearly that kind of stance, and we don't really know whether she was rigging elections, because she came to power in 2009, and did she held on to power because of rigging of elections, or was it there was a larger anger against her because she was repressing protest against her?
Yeah, because when she was ousted, it was a student protest, right? When she was ousted.
Yeah, but countries like Bangladesh, Nepal, how much of that protest is organic and how much of that is funded by the West?
Yeah, that's possible.
Conspiracy theorists say that US was behind the ouster of Sheikh Hasina because she was not doing the bidding of United States. So the larger goal of United States is to create a separate Christian state. out of Bangladesh. That she said.
Right. Yeah, it's possible. So, in this case, like now since they are, they are buying this fighter, do you think like India will have to like take a new look on the eastern side for its and secure its defenses in a better, like upgraded defenses to some degree?
Well, think of it this way. Our sanction strength is 42 squadrons.
Right.
And right now we are down to 29 or 31.
I think 29. It was 32 few years ago. Now it's
So
29.
we are already stretched as it is. We have always envisaged our procurement and our research and development keeping the two-front war in mind.
Right.
Our larger adversary is Pakistan, but behind the scenes, an even bigger adversary is China, who sees us as not just as a geopolitical rival, but as a civilizational state that can match China toe to toe in everything.
And they see us as an eventual challenge to them as well.
So
Like
think of it this way: we are already stretched, and Bangladesh, after procuring JF-17, it is a potential headache for India, even if it is a poor state and does not have funds to buy, say, 48 aircrafts, maybe 2-3 squadrons, maybe even if it buys, say, 10 aircrafts, just for the argument's sake, that is still a problem.
Yes, exactly.
Because modern aircraft is not just a airborne killing machine, but it is also a flying sensor.
Yes.
It has, AESA, radar. It has advanced avionics, and that will all be Chinese.
Yes.
And they will be able to monitor our assets from the eastern side, and would also potentially be able to share that information with Pakistan and China.
So you are saying like those aircrafts may act as a surveillance equipment for China and Pakistani.
Yes, that's a
military.
That's a threat,
Yeah.
and that is an obvious threat.
Right.
And Bangladesh may present this procurement as its operational needs. It currently has merely 40-50 aircrafts.
Yeah, and most of them are outdated aircrafts.
Most of them are outdated. Majority of them are Chengdu F7, which is a reverse engineered MiG-21.
Yeah.
Which you very well know is known as flying coffin.
Yeah, it's completely outdated.
Yes.
And they only have proper like 8 MiG-29, right?
And they have few MiG-29s.
Yeah.
So it is in dire need of upgradation. That's true. But you would think that India, being the big brother state, should have marketed its Tejas to all the countries of global south. And thus far, we have been unable to find a buyer for him.
Because we ourselves are not using it that much, na?
I think that is a great point. That is a great point, because our own army, our own air force,
which is in need of
our own military structure is somewhat dismissive of our homegrown and developed armaments and equipment. I mean, that in itself, if we ourselves are going to not wholeheartedly embrace the Swadeshi equipments, then how can we convince the rest of the world that our weapons are good enough? Our airframes, HAL Tejas, by all accounts, is a wonderful aircraft, and it will serve the needs of Bangladesh.
Yeah.
What is Bangladesh even going to do with those aircrafts flying? There is absolutely no need.
Yeah.
If they are needing security, then India is already there. If they think India is a geopolitical rival, then good luck to them.
Yeah, I think, when you said like our sanction strength is 42 squadrons, I think 10 of those squadrons could be Tejas very easily. If it is cheaper, right? We are spending so much money on like Rafale and other aircrafts. Like we could easily fill many of our squadrons by Tejas. And that will, when we use it ourselves, that will prove, that will help us to market our equipment to the rest of the countries.
After all, when we showed the rest of the world that our, BrahMos is battle tested,
Yeah.
suddenly the queue for buying BrahMos seems to have increased.
Yes.
It seems we are inking new deals
Yeah.
almost every month.
And we are also selling equipment to Armenia, na? Armenia and those countries there.
Armenia is
West Asia.
definitely one of our biggest customer,
They're buying radars as well from us.
because they have threat from Azerbaijan and
Turkey.
the whole Turkey axis. So I don't think we can sell Armenia BrahMos because Russia is also involved there.
Right.
So Russia definitely has a veto on which countries we can sell BrahMos to. So there, I think Russia may not agree with our potential for selling BrahMos to Armenia. But definitely, we've sold.
We could have sold Tejas to them if we had been using it and demonstrated it in the
Problem with Tejas is that we cannot purchase a proper jet engine for it.
And
Like GE, General Electric, is very tardy in supplying us the engines.
Right.
I mean, let's not forget. I mean, as if we can forget, but we do not have a jet engine technology. So we are wholly reliant on other state to give us that jet engine. So this is why there is a delay in bringing Tejas into our squadrons and making up the numbers.
So it's also a delay on investing in our own engine as well.
No, but it's not. But it's even China has not been able to master it. China has its.
I think they have their engine.
They have it, but it's not really tested. And China keeps it ambiguous. China may declare to the world that its jet engine technology is the best, but it is all about. I mean, it proof is in the pudding. They have never really been tested, and they themselves use Russian engines.
But that is the way, na, when America must have created their own engines for the first time. It was only when they tested it that became a proof. Na. So first of all, you have to create something, and when the time comes, we are going to test it. So create to karna hi padega tab bhi.
You have to start from somewhere, but countries like India do not have the luxury of experimenting with their own substandard engine, because they are competing geopolitically with China and Pakistan. And India simply does not have that. So on the one hand, India has to procure and make up the numbers, but also have a parallel program where it can develop such technology. So I think coming back to the subject, do you think if we allow Bangladesh to have this sort of air assets like JF-17, is it not a failure of our foreign policy?
It is. To some degree, it is.
I mean, if they do not, what is it good for then? All our weapons, all our expenditure on defense. If even Bangladesh is able to purchase this sort of air asset, which will most certainly talk with Chinese Western sort of theater command, don't you think this is something that should be our red line? They cannot really cross that.
Should have been. And adding to your point, yes, not just that. It's not just that it will be used by China for surveillance. I am damn sure that the only country that it could be tested against will be India. I don't think Bangladesh is going to go to war with any other country.
Yeah,
country it might go to war with.
See, the Sheikh Hasina was a good administrator, and she kind of balanced her domestic needs to assert her autonomy, but also making sure that it doesn't cross India's red lines.
Right.
It's not as if Bangladesh did not procure weapons from China even during Sheikh Hasina. Even during Sheikh Hasina's time, they did purchase submarines. But submarines is different. You're not really sharing data with China. India clearly was convinced that doesn't really affect us. But the JF-17 is going to have impact on our security architecture. In fact, it completely disturbs it. Yeah,
because JF-17 is also a 4.5 generation aircraft.
Yeah, they said about JF-17 that many experts say that JF-17 is not all that. It's not really reliable. It's it asks for a lot of servicing. But the latest variant, the Block 3, it's considered like it is a very reliable system.
Premium model.
Yeah, and it can damage you. I mean, because you see, let's say that they are, say, very cheap and they are affordable for Bangladesh, but they are come equipped with all the Chinese software, all the source code.
Right. Yeah.
And which it can talk with Chinese assets. It can send information, telemetry data to Chinese, and it has beyond visual range missiles, PL-15, which has a range of about 140, 150 kilometers to 200 kilometers.
Which I think was demonstrated in the Operation Sindoor as well. We got for a few of them.
Right. So Bangladesh, potentially does not even have to be, because of this beyond visual range missile, you don't really have to cross your border. You can be territorially within the confines of Bangladesh's territory and still cause headache to enemy.
Right. I think, since we are discussing this, I don't think Bangladesh will pose a threat to us in any way. But due to them acquiring these jets, our security apparatus, we will be forced to, move some of our assets to the eastern side, which might have been used against China or Pakistan.
Experts say that...
put a check on Bangladesh.
Yeah. Experts say that, it's already... India has a lot of assets there.
Yeah,
India has a S-400 there. India has Rafale Squadron there.
I think there's
Northeast.
Full battalion there near the Chicken's Neck.
I'm glad you mentioned Chicken's Neck, because that is India's biggest worry. The Siliguri Corridor, also known as Chicken's Neck. It's only a 20-kilometer wide strip of land. And I don't know, when we were helping Bangladesh get liberated, why didn't we find solution for our ultimate vulnerability on east side? China can always mount a challenge. India's biggest choke point is, I think, Siliguri Corridor. The real threat from China is going to be from Chumbi Valley. It can make an assault from there, and that can really temporarily cut us off from our seven sisters. And then what we do? Now, if we don't have a friendly government in Bangladesh, then it's really a headache for us in a scenario such as, we are envisioning. Because it's all about deterrence, right? The more vulnerabilities you're going to have, the more, more problems and more, you're just increasing your own problems.
Our threshold for deterrence will go up. Na?
That's right. We will have to then do something else in order to make sure. And if it is coercion that we have to resort to, we must. We can simply say to Bangladesh that you just cannot do this.
Or we are going to open the,
Yes, and we need a friendly government in Bangladesh. I think long-term policy in Bangladesh has to be that both sides, all the opposition members, all the ruling parties, we need to have good relations with everyone in Bangladesh. And we should simply say that, look, we are a civilizational state and you're basically a part that has split from us. And now you may think that you are a big Islamic superpower Bangladesh. But in reality, you're not. So you must reconcile yourself to this ground reality that you will always be a small country in India's backyard. And no matter how arrogant that sounds, that is the ground reality.
In order to do this, the things you are proposing, do you think there is some hitch in the Indian establishment to we have to this is going to create some trouble for us if we make sure that Bangladesh does not cross our red lines?
Yeah, I think we have. Are you telling that what options we have?
No, I'm saying, why aren't we doing it then? If this is so easy, if it is possible.
If it is possible, or that really depends. I never really understand why India does not make it. I think India gives a long rope to its neighbors.
We are being too lenient.
We give too lenient, and we are essentially a benign power, and we do not use these sort of this. We don't have a policy of coercion against our neighbors, and I think
weakness for us, we don't coerce our own neighbors, like small neighbors.
I think India has a clear belief in the powers that be, that ultimately they'd come back to us. They have no other choice. They have no other recourse, because no matter how anti-India and you cannot really defeat geography. Bangladesh, if you think about, is completely encircled by India, and Bangladesh is dependent on India for its land routes for business.
we can choke its naval.
No, Bangladesh
access
is
zone.
buying electricity from Adani.
Yes.
He has that.
So,
He has assets in Jharkhand, and from there is selling
electricity to
Bangladesh, and Bangladesh is paying Adani.
So
for
in that case, don't you think this is like a leverage we have over them? Like we should use it as a.
Of course, it's a leverage, and it's a tight walk. It's a tight. It's a really. I don't know how Bangladesh would convince us that it's okay to buy JF-17. Because everything Bangladesh cannot really do without India.
Right.
So my understanding is that this could be a signaling from Bangladesh to assert its strategic autonomy, and there would be, I think, back channel talks, or maybe Indians would be convinced that that doesn't really pose us a threat, because let's face it, Bangladesh would not really fight with us on this.
And 8 to 10 jets will not be a challenge.
That's not going to be a challenge. But as we discussed, it's not about that. It's not about a direct threat that JF-17 owned by Bangladesh would be to us. It would actually be about all the operational data that it would be sharing with China.
Yes.
And also, once you buy such multi-million-dollar expensive jets, they have a life cycle of 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. So all the parts and maintenance, spare parts, China would be entrenched in Bangladeshi.
You mean it would lead to a long-term, deeper relationship with China?
It already has very deep ties with China as far as its defense goes. And it starts with 1975 when Mujibur Rahman was assassinated and a military dictatorship, took over Bangladesh. From there on, China became a player in Bangladesh defense setup, and now it has 70-80%. It's all Chinese equipments they are using. See, the reason why China is a preferred defense partner is because China gives them all cheap. China sometimes gives them on credit, because China is entrenching itself into your setup. Once it has made itself indispensable, once you have invested in its expensive airframes and all the weapon suites and everything, you're going to be relying on China.
Yeah.
So the Chinese are masters of playing the long-term game.
Yeah.
And once you have given them a taste of your weapons, and you are in their debt trap, then it's very difficult to get out of such a trap, especially for economically fragile states like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. Look what Sri Lanka had to endure with China. The same it does everywhere. So it is very attractive.
I think China's governance model, it's a dictatorship, right? So that helps to maintain these kinds of, invest in such long-term relationships.
China doesn't have problems like comptroller and auditor general, and they don't have an opposition where they are alleging that you have done this because your friend Adani or Ambani, you're not doing this for the larger good of India, you're doing it for Adani and Ambani, because it doesn't have a childish opposition. So it's easier for them to execute their long-term vision.
Yeah.
So golden era of Sheikh Hasina is gone. Sheikh Hasina really was, I think, in a way, friend of India. In some ways, she was a realist. She knew that India cannot be ignored. Because the narrative in the internet also. So if you go on Reddit, it's all very childish. You have these wet dreams of morons and idiots who think that Seven Sister can be cut off from India. Yeah, that's never going to happen.
Yeah, Sheikh Hasina would not have allowed it because she's a realist, as you said, and that means that she was more loyal to Bangladesh in a way, right? She wanted good for Bangladesh.
Yeah.
So she would not make stupid decisions.
Yeah, she definitely. I also feel that we invested everything in that Sheikh Hasina.
Awami League party.
Yeah. And now the situation is that we have to start from zero. That is why it is important to take everyone along, opposition, and also the ones who are ruling. The same thing happened with that country called Maldives.
Yeah.
We had someone in charge who was pro-India, but then opposition challenged him. with its India out campaign, and he got into power, and then immediately what he did, he went to China and tried to signal that now Chinese are going to. Then he got into all these deals with China, signed all these agreements.
And then they threaten, and then they use these dealings with China to get something out of us as
Yes, and our policymakers are also very. I mean, it should not be said that they are doing everything wrong. They know that ultimately you cannot beat geography. India is a geographic reality for our neighbors. So ultimately, when they needed help, who provided that help? India.
We should also force something upon them, na? Ki we are helping you, so
I think we already do, but see, we have such a thriving free speech media, that all sorts of nonsense is spoken, and much of it does not really have any basis in reality. All the threat mongering and everything, but I think it's definitely something that we need to take into account, that in Nepal, the way Balen Shah is talking nonsense that, you have encroached on our land and we have encroached some of your land, and we are going to talk to UK.
And they will put taxes on our goods, right? He said something.
Yes,
like that,
I think sometimes we just give too long a rope. It's very it's almost like a rage bait kind of statements that these people, as if they are trying to attract attention of India. But as always, I think India would simply ignore him, because I think ultimate wisdom of India is that they know where they stand, and what the neighbors also cannot have, do not have choice but to deal with India. So, what you said was that, in Bangladesh, we'll have to allocate some of our resources if Bangladesh manages to purchase the JF-17. But in my opinion, it would be, the right approach would be to talk to Bangladesh and simply say that JF-17 cannot be allowed in its backyard.
Yeah, that would be better, much better.
If we can somehow do that. And because our security architecture is such that it keeps two-front war into account. It does not say it will become a three-front war or 3.5 front war. We say 2.5 front war, and we say it because
0.5 is Bangladesh, na?
No, 0.5 is some of them are also within India.
Achha.
So we are saying 3.5 front war. So you have Eastern concern, and then you have the West is already Pakistan. Then you have a northern neighbor. So our approach is that instead of disturbing our entire framework, we should somehow, even US would not be happy that Bangladesh would embrace China.
Yeah.
US would prefer that its own expensive weapons are bought by Bangladesh. That is another thing that global South countries can simply not afford. Western equipments.
You know what I think US wants? I think US sees this whole scenario as an opportunity to make us comply with their demands, with the demands of US, because they see India is under getting getting into trouble with everyone around them, and China is dominating that area. So US will use this to get concessions out of us and take advantage.
Yes, but I think there's a better way of doing that. I mean, we are already, the public in India is already very pro-US. It sees United States as an ultimate destination after graduation and post-graduation. They want to settle in the United States. So the public mood and public sentiments regarding the United States is already very good. All they have to do is just be, mindful of India's own concern. If you're going to disrespect India by calling it a hellhole and call, its economy dead economy, I don't think that is the right way about it.
Then in a moment when Rubio came, Trump was also saying, I love Modi, I love India as well. So he can just change it in a few days. He changes his words.
Yes, there is no rhyme or reason with his utterances.
Yeah.
So I think Bangladesh it's a difficult decision to make, because if Bangladesh is going to purchase Chinese platforms, because it cannot do it like Pakistan. Pakistan has a very good geography. So United States knows it needs it. That's why it can cooperate with China.
And Pakistan is much better militarily as well. There's no match Bangladesh Pakistan ko comparison.
Yes, and they just have a way of making themselves be a bit relevant